Hi, Shannon O'Flaherty here. Hello, hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you here with me tonight, and it fuels my sacred heart so much to be able to share all of this wisdom with you. And tonight, I'm going to be talking to you about the heart chakra. And for 20 years, I've been in private practice, and it's been absolutely amazing to see all the different experiences with my clients and to work with their energy systems and their beliefs also. And, the heart chakra, well, all our chakras are really important because they all work in conjunction with one another. But our heart chakra is one of the most important chakras that we have. And so I'm going to show you how that works now. Here we go. So our heart chakra and the physicality around it is tonight's subject. And our heart sends us emotional and intuitive signals to help govern our lives. The heart starts beating actually in an unborn fetus before the brain is even formed. And the heartbeat is formed from within the heart itself, and it doesn't actually even need connection to the brain to keep beating. So the pericardium is a sac that surrounds the heart and it protects it, and it buffers the heart from all of the fluctuating demands of other organs. And the heart also has its own nervous system, which is referred to as the brain in the heart. It's directly connected with the circulatory system. And so our core heart feelings reduce the activity of the sympathetic nervous system. In other words, the speeding up of the heart rate and the constricting of blood vessels and releasing stress hormones. And also those core feelings increases the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system. In other words, slowing the heart rate down and relaxing the body's inner systems. So the gift of the heart chakra is love, and the grief is grief is the saboteur. The element is water and air, and it governs our breathing, our circulation, our heart, our thymus, our lungs, our arms, our hands, our fingers, our ribs, and our immune system. This is a yin feminine chakra. So I think it was in the late 90s, there was this amazing artist who rubberized human organs, and absolutely fascinating. It was in a museum in London, and there was a lot of medical art students there. And I mean, not obviously he worked with dead people, not live people. But he showed the circulatory system. He showed, all sorts of things. And I did have the opportunity to see what a clean lung looked like and also what a smoker's lung looked like. And I could pick up this smoker's lung. It was really, really disgusting. And that people who smoke, one of the heart chakra belief systems is that subconsciously, obviously, that they really don't value their life or that they want to die. And from the healer's perspective, sometimes we want to die. In other words, we want to go home. We want to go back to source. So we're not choosing life here on this earth. Pleurisy is also an illness that is affected by the heart chakra. And this is when the lining of your lung becomes infected. And usually the next thing that happens is we get pneumonia. Now, I've had pleurisy twice in my lifetime, both times in the winter. I'm not good in the winter. And the first time was in 1996. It was one of my very worst years ever. Interesting thing about years, some people can be having the worst year and some people can be having the best year. 1996 was a year like that for a lot of people, seemed to be either best or worst. And I'd had a really bad car accident that year and just went rapidly downhill from that. And I got pleurisy, but it was a time when I was absolutely sad. I just couldn't see any way out of my situation. I couldn't see an end to the situation that I was in, and I was incredibly low and sad, and my heart chakra was definitely low at that point in time. And that eventually did lead me to hitting my rock bottom, really. Really took about another whole year to hit that rock bottom. And finally, I went back to school and started studying transactional analysis. And then that's ultimately what led me to my healing path. So, like everything, sometimes when we're having a really tough time, we can't see the gift in that situation. And when our heart chakras are contracting so much like that and really are feeling broken, we feel desperate and we can't see a way out of that. Can any of you relate to this? Can you relate to feeling so sad like your heart is breaking when you don't think it's possible to ever be happy? Type me in the comments. I know that feeling. I used to feel like that a lot of times, and I'm telling you, you can turn that around. So please do not despair. So, our heart chakra is affected also if we experience the death of a loved one. Our heart chakra can become unbalanced or blocked or closed because we become sad because we're hurting and we're in pain and we're afraid. And many problems in modern culture is that our heart chakra is underdeveloped. We put up these subconscious protective barriers to keep us safe, right? But it doesn't keep ourselves safe. All it does is keep us from feeling vulnerable, except that we still feel vulnerable. We just think that we're protecting ourselves from the outside world because we're afraid to become vulnerable to love. We fear having a strong connection to another person. But on the other hand, some people love too much and may over identify with other people's pain, suffering so much for the other person that they become emotionally disabled and codependent. And as a result of that, they stifle the other person's room to develop, so their partner ends up suffering also. So, how do we know when our heart chakra needs balancing? Well, we may experience physical symptoms such as breathing issues or heart concerns, infections, chronic fatigue, or we could have a lowered immune system, be susceptible to colds and flus and infection, and have heart and lung issues. Maybe heart palpitations could be very common there, poor circulation, high or low blood pressure, respiratory and breathing difficulties. These are all symptoms of a heart chakra imbalance. Asthma, upper back and shoulder problems, arm and wrist pain, because our secondary heart chakras are located in our arms, and also our heart meridian runs through that. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Or over loving to the point of suffocation, jealousy, and bitterness. We could have constant fear of being alone. And also, if you're a man and you have heart problems, then you really better go get your prostate checked out too, and vice versa. If you have prostate problems, go get your heart checked because they're integrally connected in men for some reason. It's really important to make sure that your heart chakra is in balance with all of your other chakras because they all work together to form a balanced emotional and physical life. That's why I offer 20-minute complimentary mind shift calls so that I can help you see where your blind spots are so that you can see more easily where you might be out of balance in your life. Because sometimes when we're right thick in the middle of all of our stuff, it's really hard to compartmentalize things and see where we're at. So it's really good to have another point of view. I can help you see where you may be blocked. So doing yoga is really good to help strengthen the heart chakra, particularly this camel pose. And I've always found that pose really difficult. Maybe I was having heart chakra problems all of the time or having a problem leaning my head back. But to whatever level you can do that, if you can't do a full camel pose, really anything where you're just going to open up your chest and pull your shoulders back and imagine your heart lifting up to the heavens, up and out. Anything to expand your heart chakra is going to help. And also, you could trace your heart meridian, which you can see here in this green line on the picture. And what you want to do is just you could take your palm and start from your armpit and trace up the back of your arm, off the outside of your arm, all the way off the tip of your pinky. And that's your heart meridian. You don't ever want to trace it backwards, and you can do the other side. We always want to be in balance. So trace your heart meridian, because our secondary heart chakras are in the shoulders and on our arms. And so you can also just take your hands back like this and stretch your arm out and pull your fingers back on both sides. If ever you're feeling sad, you can do that, or do any stretches where your arms go up and then back and open, so that you're really expanding your heart chakra all the time, because we want to keep our heart chakra open. I mean, if you're one of these people that are too open, I don't think that doing these things is going to make you even worse, because you don't want to close your heart chakra, but you want your heart chakra to be in balance with your other chakras. You can also really imagine when you're meditating that your heart chakra is glowing bright green and spinning really fast, like 360 degrees all around you, and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and expanding and burning up any negativity in the way, and expand it all the way out until it's bigger than the earth, and you're right in the center, and only let it absorb pure love and light energy. And of course, all of these things are going to make you feel better. And naturally, there is a plethora of belief work we can do around the heart chakra, because when we start to have good feelings and loving feelings and lighter feelings, it immediately affects our physical body, and it brings us into balance. So if you're having happy, lighthearted, wonderful beliefs, it strengthens your immune system. And of course, when we begin to explore a spiritual path and start to open, our heart chakras can begin to awaken too. I'm sure you've all heard people talk about the stress of a spiritual awakening. There are physical symptoms also related to the heart chakra when that's awakening. And some of these are heart palpitations and heat and hot flashes coming up in unexpected waves, or pain and heaviness in your chest, maybe excessive sweating, acute pain in the breastbone. Maybe you have a sensation of your head pulsing, or even seeing visions due to your third eye opening. These kind of symptoms can be very similar to a Kundalini awakening, which is, of course, your heart opening too. And this is a funny meme, because people think, oh, spiritual awakening, la, 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 but it's not. It's usually like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. So when you experience the heart opening, your old identities are slowly dying away. So if you think about when you go on a detox, right, the old stuff is dying, the old cells in your body is dying, and you get really ratty and mean and moody, because the cells in your body think they're dying, and so you get kind of freaked out. Well, it's kind of the same way energetically. And you might find that if you try to go back to the old world, to the way that you used to be, you'll find out that it's just really not possible because you can't unknow what you know. And it causes you a considerable amount of pain. This is people fighting their spiritual awakening. And believe me, I fought it all the way through. I made things the most difficult way forward for me, which is really why I became a spiritual coach and healer so that I could help people learn from my difficult path and find this path in a much easier, more accessible way with some flow in there. So if you open up to the shifts in your consciousness and let the process penetrate every area of your life, then eventually you'll become the person that you've dreamed about. Your heart chakra awakening is a gift. And when you collaborate with the universe, when we co create and actually decide and make decisions and invest in ourselves and put out there what we want to create and what we want our life and our reality to be like, then the whole process goes smoother because the universe supports those good kind of feelings. So, if you're ready to open up to your consciousness, I really want to hear from you. Book a 20-minute mind shift call with me because I'd love to see if we're a good vibrational match to work together. I'd love to help you see the blocks, the pixelated parts in you that you can't see right now. I'd love for you to discover where you're holding yourself back. There's never been a more necessary time on earth to learn to go within and to heal your root wounding so that we can stay in alignment regardless of what's happening all around us. Life does not have to be a struggle. We all have the power within ourselves to make our lives and our reality as easy or difficult as we'd like. Wouldn't you learn? Wouldn't you love to learn how? It's been a pleasure sharing all of this information with you, and I really look forward to hearing from you soon. Lots of love.